Now, also joining us to discuss the political impasse in Rivers State is a political affairs analyst, Dr. Sam Amadi. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, for joining us, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, Dr. Amadi, we're seeing the whole drama unfold in Rivers State, and I just want to ask, what are the implications of the alleged police attempt to take over the Rivers State RSIEC on the integrity of the local government elections?
Well, I think first it's clear that any attempt to take over that operation will violate the law. Going by the Electoral Act and the conventions around fair election, the Independent Electoral Commission, whether the federal state, is legally authorized and only so to conduct elections. So to take over the facility is to thwart the conduct of election. And again, that's against the law. And the Electoral Act was very explicit. It was very explicit about that. No order, of course, should be made against to stop the electoral election being conducted. Of course, you can go back and challenge outcomes or even the election itself. So I think the role of the police is smart enough. They have legal advisors who are also well informed. So their role is very clear. It would be not to in any way interfere with the conduct of the election. Again, the Supreme Court is ruling in July this year, made it clear that, with the clear direction that local governments should have elected officials. And part of the federal government directives also is trying to help to enforce that Supreme Court decision was that all elections should be completed by a certain date this month. And so it's both a judicial authority directives as well as executive directive. And I think the police role should be clearly to ensure that enforcement. Now, the police thwarting in any way taking siege or hold or in any way impeding the exercise of the function of an independent agency of the state is actually also raises issues around separation of power. That is, the state federal police should not impede the exercise of legislative and executive function of the state. For example, the SEC of the state is covered by law. That election has received judicial pronouncement by the State High Court of Rivers State that said it should hold on the 5th. This police job will be, if they're not going to support the agency to conduct the election free and fair, it should be to protect peace, because the police has a and constitutional responsibility to protect the peace and not to in any way impede. So going there to their offices and trying to seal the place or taking an action to stop movement or exercise of function is not the work of police at all, because there's no order that authorizes them, either from the courts or from the executive branch of the legislature, to in any way stop the conduct of action.
Okay, I'm also curious to know, how will the People's Democratic Party's protest and the police's subsequent assurance of compliance with the court ruling going forward after the elections, after everything that unfolded, how would it affect the election's outcome?
In many ways, first is actual participation. We hope there is no violence. If there's protests, we would expect that the PDP are boycotted. But the interesting thing about the PDP is the governor of the state, who is going ahead to conduct an election in line with the High Court, the Supreme Court, of course, the law establishing the State Electoral Commission, is a PDP governor, at least up to today. And he's saying, I'll be the one to be affected by these boycotts. So the PDP will invariably boycott, because the PDP is taking the executive council, the executive of the state is the one that's loyal to Wike, and they're taking the instructions of the federal, the national PDP leadership that's also pro-Wike. So we're going to see PDP boycott. But again, boycotting duly conducted election does not in any way invalidate the outcome. In fact, at the national level, the Electoral Act is also very clear that when there's a boycott, only one candidate, then that one candidate will be elected according to the law. But again, here, there are many parties that are going to contest the election. PDP or APC or both of them will not tend to the legality of the election. Now, what will happen with it? If the grant for boycott is a legal grant, and post-election, the courts validates the superior court. Now we're having conflict of courts. The federal court in control of the Wike group, the state court evidently seemingly supporting the government. So if at the level of the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, the challenge against the legality of this election succeeds, then it invalidates the conduct. But not participating per se will not invalidate the conduct. But again, it is an issue of legitimacy. We've seen that these elections have happened in 10 states, and each of them has come with significant flaws and question of legitimacy and credibility of those elections. The river will not be any different. We expect that the APP that looks like the governor has now fully endorsed and supported would carry the day. Just like it happened with ABGA in Anambra, it happened with the APC in Imo, it happened with APC in Sokoto, it happened with in Kwara, it's going to happen across the 36 states of the Federation. Why? Because there's no democratic competitive elections at the state level, because the governments are taking full control of those areas. And then it's not a reverse outcome. It's going to be the same outcome. But the question now is, would there be violence? In most of these other places, there are not any serious violence.
All right, Mr. Amadi.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, very quickly, Dr. Amadi, we want to go on a short break, but we will still come back to continue the conversation after the break. So just stay with us. You're still live with us on the news. We'll be back. All right, thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about the political impasse in Rivers State, and we still have our guest, political affairs analyst, Dr. Sam Amadi. Thank you, Dr. Amadi, for still staying with us. Now, I want to quickly chip in. You were answering the second question before we went on break, but I want to quickly ask, how might the events leading up to the election impact the voter turnout and the public confidence in the electoral process? Already we see youth on the street protesting. How do you think that this will translate in the elections?
I think no doubt that this will lead to significant voter apathy. First, it all also depends on how the police play their card and how two forces take further action. If they're going to be increase of violence, if they're going to be resort to street protests on that day, they're going to be some kind of use of violence, either from official state action, state-sanctioned violence, private act of violence. Then it further scare away voters. Again, at this point, there's deep cynicism about electoral outcomes in Nigeria. So people are not invested in the outcomes. Maybe they are part of the political brigade of Fubara or Wike, will be less enthusiastic about vote. So they could just come out and vote if it's safe. There are zero possibility of violence. They come out. But if there's some chances that there's violence, there's not much, at stake for them, because give and take, Fubara, if the election holds, if it ever holds, Fubara will get his result. So I think already you see the governorship election with all the massive campaign, we just recorded about 20.1% or so voter turnout. So you can now see that this election, if you're going to get single-digit voter turnout, especially with the rhetoric going on, with the violence, with the street protests up and down, you press the wicked will come out, you get to vote either way, PDP, people will not vote, and then some other people who are not wicked, but essentially not too enthusiastic or invested in the Fubara movement, we will stay away from the poll. So it's built to be a very low turnout, lower than perhaps somebody get ups in an election where people basically cover their business. But you have significant turnout to constitute a security challenge in terms of what happened. See those young ones in the street who are singing and dancing. They are invested in the outcome. They some of them see it as a matter of state sovereignty. It's a matter of, like they say, it's our state. We have to fight for our state. And so they are more than encouraged. There's a momentum for them to come out. So they're not just coming out just because they want to go. They're coming out to protect whatever they consider, their sovereignty, the ballot box, the power of Fubara to remain governor and not to be displaced, handed out by what they now call as a major forces. So yes, no turnout, but again, you're going to see intensity and some degree of exuberance and hopefully limited violence.
Okay, also very quickly, how do you think that the election outcome will impact the political landscape of Rivers State in general?
It will impact massively. I mean, look, the whole weekend fight and Fubara is primarily around 2027. So with this election, you are guaranteed that if it holds as it's going to hold, like and Fubara gets the result he wants. People fortify. First, the issue is also money, always money, money, money. So there's a sense in which you're going to see the local governments are in control, and then even if as it is now, the PDP national leadership takes the party structure away from it, he has a governing team. He constitutes the APP, and with now a budget, with political office, with capacity to mobilize political support in the local government areas. That is massive structure. So he has basically supplanted the Wike structure at the local level where it matters. So it then means it's fully in charge, irrespective of what the party chieftains do in the whatever house in Abuja here is on ground. And then that simply means that to now get him out in 2027, which is really what the game is about, to get him out and possibly make a way for the second term. It will be very difficult. You won't do that through votes. You won't do that with through public mobilization. He has got the resources to finance loyalty, to keep those loyal guys, to keep the support base strong. This election is actually that decisive, and that's why you are seeing, the highest level of desperation and the use of state force in very immoral, irresponsible way, including the confusion in the judiciary, is because the stakes are very high. So they are pulling no punches to deliver results, either from Wike or from Fubara. And whoever delivers results to tomorrow surely is the guy who has a head start. It's up there, the battle for 2027. This is not about Rivers people. This is about 2027. And it's a shame that there are political institutions, especially the courts and the security agencies, true to prophecy. In my paper, in my speech a few months ago, I said the strategy for election in Nigeria is bribe INEC, bribe judiciary, commanded security. I will see that script, that strategy, simple strategy, repeat endlessly. And that's a shame because both the police, the INEC and the courts should be independent, but in this case, they are not.
Okay, very quickly, in 30 seconds, I would like to ask, how will the situation in Rivers State shape Nigeria's democratic trajectory and the 2027 general elections? Very quickly, please.
Very quickly, it's going to shape it good, positive, and negative. Look, what's happening today is important because Rivers State constitutes both the finance house, constitutes a big electoral chunk, and the president won it controversial terms last time. They want to do it again. And so what happens today be a poster to possibility of what will happen 27 to the presidential election. That's why it matters. And it matters if Fubara, obviously, it's not Wike is for the president. That way, Fubara wins, the president has to plan to get back. So,
all right, Dr. Sam Amadi, political affairs analyst, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.